We are at the final part of the video. What do you guys believe? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree so far with this investigation into ADHD? We are going to take a quiz on living here. So, I'm hoping this is one of those ones where I don't have to like give out all my information in order to get a fucking diagnosis, but we'll see. It's said free online. So, we are going to give it a shot. What's your age? I am 28, so that puts me right there. I often lose track of time, caught in endless scrolling. Sometimes. I start the day with good intentions, but end up wondering where the time went. Not really. My whole day is pretty much structured out. I do see this happen. If something like an emergency came up and then it screwed up my mental schedule, then it definitely throws me off. So we can do rarely. I feel overwhelmed by the amount of work I have to do. Rarely. I fucking live for it. I notice that I get more energy and focus when a deadline is close. True. I like locking in under pressure. How is your productivity lately? Very high. Y'all especially know, if you look at the channel and like my uploads, if you go back on my videos and you'll see like there's a few like weeks there where I was not uploading shit. And to be fair, the most recent like gap is due to the fact that I had a friend pass away, so I was dealing with that shit, so I was completely offline and I didn't say anything about it, just because it's more of a private thing. But before that I was definitely still adjusting to like I got a new job and fucking I had some new responsibilities come up, so I was dealing with those. And that was like hard to kind of work in with the schedule, so I kind of just put YouTube on the back burner for a little bit there. But as you guys can see, I've been fucking cooking lately, cooking a lot. How often do you find yourself jumping between tasks? Sometimes I jump, sometimes not. How often do you feel the need to check your phone or social media? I feel like I'm biased here because I have a lot of presence on social media, right? Because like I just posted about the Ireland fucking riot bullshit going on X. So like obviously, I'm gonna check in on that at some point. I gotta see what's going on, So I don't know. This whole hobby revolves around social media, so I feel like I'm not a good. If I were to remove myself, I would remove myself from the equation in this whole YouTube thing. Remove it from the equation and just kind of visualize how often would I use my phone. I would probably use it once or twice a day. Do you often reread sections because you forget them? Not because I forget them, but I do like to make sure that I don't misread things, because I've run into the issue before where, especially when I was like first getting into politics and I wasn't sure about the language of politics, because if you haven't gotten into politics before, the language that people will use in politics is very psychology based, and it's very much geared toward getting you to think a certain way. I mean, it's propaganda. I mean, that's how propaganda works. But people will use optics and any sort of trick they can use to convince you that they are correct and you are wrong. So I had to take a lot of time to reread things, extrapolate them, and figure out what they actually mean before I could comment on them, because I was making that mistake where I was reading something and I would get caught up in it and I would look like a fucking retard. So I learned that you have to be a lot more calculated with that stuff. So I do reread sections quite a lot just for understanding, not for forgetfulness. So I am going to say no. Have you noticed that you can't focus like you used to? I mean, that was true when I was like 12 years old. I often feel mentally exhausted, like my mind is just overloaded. Not true. I often delay tasks even when I know they are important. Am I a procrastinator? I can be. I can be a procrastinator. I feel like ADHD is holding me back from reaching my full potential. Uh, Big disagree. Do you overthink situations or dwell on the past? Uh, no. No. Are you your own harshest critic? Yes. Yes, I'm very self-critical. Do you see yourself as a people pleaser? No. Yeah, absolutely fucking not. Do you ever feel alone when um this doesn't feel like a ADHD thing to me. It'd be weird that it's in here. Do you ever feel alone even when you're surrounded by people? That feels This does not seem like an ADHD question to me. This seems like an introvert or extrovert question. But yes. Yes, I do not listen, I'm not a social butterfly. I'm not that guy. I have no problem like initiating conversation or responding to somebody initiating a conversation with me, and I'll hold that conversation. You know, whatever we're talking about, politics, weather, cars, fucking anime, gaming, doesn't matter. I have no problem holding the conversation. Which ADHD symptoms do you relate the most? Unable to focus, obviously. Lack of motivation. That's not even inherently ADHD. That's just you being a lazy fucking twat. Racing thoughts. Everybody with ADHD definitely deals with that. For sure. Chronic procrastination. What the fuck? Absolutely not. Restless or fidgety. Yeah, I would say so. I'm not good at sitting down and watching like anime, Lord of the Rings. That was a tough one because them fucking movies are so goddamn long. It was kind of tough to fucking sit there and just watch the fucking movie. It's fuck, man. Emotionally drained and moody. Nope, don't have a problem with that. Just don't be a bitch. Easily overwhelmed by noise or tasks. Absolutely fucking not. The more tasks and noise I have, the more I lock the fuck in. That's why we have music playing right now, and I have that shit on max volume, but you guys can't hear it. You can hear the music, but what I'm saying is my headphones. Continue. How do ADHD symptoms affect your life? I miss out on opportunities. I can't stay on track with goals. My relationships are struggling. Parenting feels overwhelming. I can't keep up with the daily tasks. I rarely finish what I start. I feel stuck or behind in life. I would say I miss out on opportunities for sure. For sure, I miss out on opportunities. Can't stay on track with goals is not something I struggle with. When it comes to this one, I think the problem people have is that the goals that they set are not realistic. If you are somebody who is actually struggling with ADHD, I want you to try this. I want you to so like I said earlier in the video when I said to look in the mirror and say that you're the fucking problem. If you manage to do that every single day, that is a goal that you achieved every morning of every day with your ADHD. So that proves two things. One, it proves that you can stay on track with your goals. And two, it proves that you can be consistent despite quote unquote having ADHD. My relationships are struggling. There's too many elements that go into a relationship because it takes two people. And I think this is actually social media. No, this isn't a post. This is a comment that I left earlier on a post that was something about relationships, where essentially I said it takes two people to build and maintain a relationship, but it takes one person to destroy it. That's all it takes, right? Parenting feels overwhelming. Parenting's overwhelming anyway. You have fucking living beings relying on you every single day that are 10 times more complex than any, like, the smartest animal you've ever owned, right? I can't keep up with my daily tasks. People getting overwhelmed with daily tasks. Yeah, I could see. I guess it really depends. Like, it depends on how you structure your life. Would I say that I complete all of my daily tasks every day? No. So I guess for argument's sake, I could say that I do struggle with daily tasks. I rarely finish what I start. That's not a problem for me. Like this video, I have no problem like recording this video, editing this video afterwards, and then posting it up. I rarely finish what I start. I feel stuck or behind in life. Do I feel stuck or behind in life? I do feel a bit behind in life, yes. But that is more so that I didn't know enough about the disorder I was living with, when I kind of wish that, I honestly wish that I took like psychology in middle school. If I would have taken Psych 1 and 2 in middle school as just advanced prep courses or something, because like I know you have like AP courses in high school, but like if there was an advanced prep course for psychology in middle school, I feel like I would have figured this out a long time ago. But at that time, I was still on Vyvanse. I was on Vyvanse at the time. Have you experienced any of these challenges in your relationships? Feeling misunderstood? That's a communication issue. Emotional outbursts? That's a discipline issue. Interrupting loved ones? This is the one I keep seeing getting justified. Just don't be a fucking asshole. That's the one there. Just don't be a fucking prick. All right. Forgetting commitments. True. Hard to follow through on plans. Following through is not the problem. Forgetting the commitments is definitely a problem. Especially if it's something that we plan like way in advance. I guess it really depends, right? Because I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. In May of next year, your boy is going to be at the Dos Equis Pavilion to see MGK live, baby. Ooh, vacation planned, right? I have no problem following through with that plan, right? Would I forget it? No. But that's because I have an overwhelming interest in that thing. Would it be the same if it was a business meeting? I'd probably forget it. If it was a business meeting, I'd be like, oh, fuck. Shit, I forgot I had to do that today. That would be me, for sure. Overreacting. I don't overreact to shit, dude. I don't give a fuck for the most part, man. I really don't. My life is so stress-free. It's so nice. Have you experienced any of these negative outcomes from ADHD? Financial problems? No. Just don't fucking spend your money. Spoiled relations with people? Spoiled relations? What the fuck's that mean? Like you're not friends anymore or some shit? Like, that's just life. That's life. Sometimes the people who you think are your friends just turn out to not be your fucking friends. What is this quiz? Troubles at work. Everybody's got troubles at work. That's not a justification for fucking ADHD, you fucking twats, bro. This is what I'm talking about. These are very generalized. These are not specific at all enough to diagnose somebody with ADHD or self-diagnose yourself before you go to see somebody to get an actual diagnosis. This is stupid. Eating disorders. What do you mean eating disorders? The main thing that I see the eating disorders from are from the medication, which is a very common side effect to Vyvanse, to Adderall, to Ritalin, your three most common ADHD drugs. They all have side effects of eating disorders. They screw your appetite up. They're not good for your body to intake. Anytime, listen, I can't be more clear about this. Anytime that you take a medication that alters your brain chemistry to any degree, you are messing with an insanely complex system. And if you are flooding it with a certain dopamine, with magnesium, with fucking methamphetamine, for all I fucking care, if you're flooding it with any sort of stimulus to a high degree, caffeine, your body is going to get completely thrown out of whack, right? Here's the misconception, right? People think that people with ADHD are essentially not able to produce dopamine. That's a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie, and it is clinically not the problem. The reason why I know this is because there are people who live a very lucrative life. Yeah, I like lucrative. They live a very lucrative life while maintaining their ADHD on a daily level with no problems. Why is that? If they weren't capable of creating dopamine, then it wouldn't matter what they did. It wouldn't be able to help them function. No matter what, they would have to have the medication. But the fact that there are dozens and hundreds and thousands of people like me every day who function perfectly fine without their ADHD, which, to be fair, there are a lot of things out there that give you dopamine that you don't even need the medication for, right? Stuff that people typically have every day who don't have ADHD, right? We're talking Monster energy drinks. We're talking coffee. We're talking alcohol, right? These are things that people have that typically produce dopamine for you, right? But you can also... You're ready for this. Here's a little knowledge. This is part I might get canceled. Listen. The best way to fight ADHD without outside stimulus is psychology. Achieving something, it could be small. You're going to need to use your fucking brain. And achieving something small, such as making the bed, brushing your teeth, looking in the mirror, telling yourself you're a fucking retard, taking a shower. These are things that you achieve immediately as soon as you wake up every day. Some people, they wake up, they don't like to do anything, but they'll make their coffee. That's an achievement. They just achieved something that day, right? That morning. Achievement is directly attached to a certain release. That release is dopamine. So the more you achieve, the more dopamine gets released in response. So when you're looking at ADHD, you're looking at where the disconnect is. Well, the disconnect is discipline. So I want you to look at it like this. Let's do a little. I want you to look at it like this. So, if this is your brain, this line here, if you have, we'll put an A right here, this is achievement. Right here is your brain holding the dopamine, waiting for the achievement to then send to essentially reward you for achieving something, right? It sends dopamine into your brain. ADHD cuts this part out. So now you no longer have this in order to kind of connect this bridge. So you have to look at how do you repair this? So the way that you repair it is you create a way around it, right? If your ADHD is here, fuck that up. This is a lot harder to draw with a mouse than I ever thought imaginable. If your ADHD is here in this center part, you essentially have to connect this through discipline. Discipline solves ADHD. That's my theory. Now, I have not proven this, but I plan to. If I can get enough people talking about it, I'm full willing to talk with people on both sides of the spectrum. People who rely on medication to maintain their life, and people who have swore off the medication and focused only on discipline as their way of getting through daily life. But that's my running theory. My running theory is discipline is the solve for ADHD. It's not the cure. You still have ADHD. It is still a real thing. But it is a solve that can help you have a very productive life. My whole life on a daily schedule relies on discipline. If I were to be undisciplined, the ADHD would essentially have more, not control, it would have more influence. It would have more influence on my daily activities, right? So maybe I would start not completing things. Maybe I would start having more of a disconnect with close relatives and people that I know, right? I might start showing more symptoms. But because I live such a disciplined life, even down to the foods I eat, it's very disciplined. That is essentially like a revolving door of achievements that I accomplish each and every day. So my brain is constantly releasing dopamine. So where somebody who would have my schedule, but they don't have the same release of dopamine, they would be mush brain right now. They wouldn't even be able to fucking speak. They'd probably be a vegetable. But I've found a way, and I'm sure many others have, to maintain a very high productive life without having to use medication to get me there. Because I hated it. I hated it because I was on Vyvanse at first, and then once I went to trade school, I switched over to Adderall because the Vyvanse wasn't doing enough anymore, and it was bad. It was so fucking bad. And finally, I signed a notice essentially saying I will no longer be accepting medications, and I'm gonna fucking deal with it. And I did. It took me a long time, and throughout college, I spent a majority of my time in college going over like psychology and learning about the brain, because that was like essentially, I told myself if I could figure out how the brain works, then I could also figure out how to reroute it reroute my brain to function at a level better than an average person. Because I never looked at ADHD as some debilitating disorder. I looked at it as a chance to be superhuman. And it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I feel so vindicated because I spent a lot of time and made a lot of mistakes along the way. So, physical injuries. I don't have physical injuries. Never, never, ever, ever. Well, I do. I get injured, but it's never from anything that I do personally. I have seen people try to push some sort of weird self-harm thing. If you're attacking yourself, it's because you're a fucking retard, okay? And I don't mean the retards. I mean a retard as in you're a dumbass, right? Because I know people who have actual debilitating mental disorders and mental health issues who don't hit themselves. So if you're hitting yourself and you're blaming it on ADHD, I really hope you step on the sharpest Lego possible, okay? Alcohol addiction, another one that I've seen. Now, is there a route that I could see alcohol addiction being a thing? Maybe. But my thing is, the addiction side of it is where you kind of lose me. Because this would be like the most inconsistent addict of all time. The problem with trying to match up ADHD with alcoholism, even though alcohol as itself does give you dopamine, it doesn't give you enough to where it should have an insanely hard influence on your life. So I think what's actually the influence here is the alcohol itself, which would then lean more toward them, even without ADHD, still having an alcoholism problem. And there's plenty of external factors that push people down this road. One of them is not handling your brain and allowing a little blue pill to do it for you. That's one of them. Or a white pill or whatever pill you're taking, right? So you got to handle those thoughts. My recommendation for people, if you want to get out of that cycle, you want to get out of it. Now, this is again, like, hold on, before I finish my thought there, let me very clearly state that is not medical advice, okay? That's not medical advice. I don't know specifically without studying people whether or not it's purely a vibe check. It's a vibe check, right? If you have an alcohol addiction, you're likely to have an alcohol addiction even without ADHD, because alcohol in itself is what you're addicted to, not the dopamine you get from it. Although you could use that to justify it to yourself on why you need it, which could then make it worse. But again, it comes down to discipline, right? It comes down to discipline. This doesn't happen if you have discipline. Overusing caffeine also doesn't happen if you don't have discipline. Unless you don't have discipline, sorry. Finishing my thought. I don't know if I should say this. I'm not going to. I want to see what people are saying. And then I'll go down that hole. But for now, we'll leave it be. Neglecting sleep routines. I have a very solid sleep routine, same time every single day. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. I average 6 hours. 6 hours clean. I don't wake up once, and I sleep hard as a rock. I have no problem. Well, mostly. Sometimes my dog wakes me up, but that's because she's an asshole, so, whatever. But so it goes. Overworking without breaks. I have no problem with that. I take breaks all the time. Home disorganization. Home is disorganized. Maybe. What do you call disorganized? Disorganized to an average person or disorganized to me? Because I have ADHD and I know where everything's at and I don't lose shit. But if somebody came in here and cleaned this bitch, and I mean, to be fair, I have clutter on my main table, which is like a catch-all table anyway, and my coffee table, which is not even cluttered. It has my wallet, my circle bottle, the dog's harness, and my lunchbox. That's it. So, I don't know. I don't know. Just for argument's sake, we'll go ahead and click it. That I don't have an issue with. That I don't have an issue with. Nope. 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 Spoiled. Nope. Financial. Nope. Got no problems. How often do you feel low on energy or physically drained? Rarely. Rarely. Obviously, it builds up like all things. You know, you don't take enough time off for yourself, you're going to gas out. It happens to everyone. Have you had trouble sleeping in the past month? No, not at all. Fucking slept like a rock. Have you noticed any of these physical symptoms? Restlessness, low energy, muscle tightness, headaches, sensitive stomach, sensory overload, sudden fatigue, twitching or fidgeting. Twitching or fidgeting tends to be a thing. Sensory overload, not a problem. Sudden fatigue, also not a problem. Sensitive stomach, also not a problem. Headaches. I do get headaches, but it's not from like fucking anything physically at home. It's because I have to use fucking bleach sometimes, and I fucking hate bleach. Because, little fun fact about me, when I grew up, my father did not believe in any other cleaning chemical except for fucking bleach. So he would use like 2 to 3 gallons of bleach to clean the downstairs of the house that we grew up in every fucking day. And then you can about imagine with any house with a central air unit, it just pulled that bleach smell throughout the entire house. So I was under a constant migraine every fucking day because I can't fucking handle the smell of bleach. Fuck. Muscle tightness. My muscles are always fucking tight anyway. Fucking, I do MMA and I do fucking basic strength training every single fucking day almost. Sometimes every other day, depending on if I need a break or not, or if I'm doing this. And we're about at an hour, so, you know, you about imagine when we're doing the patch notes and those videos are 2 hours long, and then I have to edit, and then I have to, you know, it's a whole thing. Restlessness and low energy. I can be restless. I can be restless if I know that if I skip the gym and I don't record, that I am going to have a restless night. 100%, that's going to happen. How would you describe your level of sexual desire? Fuck it. Unusually high? What's unusual? I've lost... That's such a... What? That's insane. Feels normal. How much do you know about ADHD? I know very little. I know the basics. I have a good understanding. I'm an expert. When did you first start wondering if you might have ADHD? More than 2 years ago. What made you think you might have ADHD? Ooh, that would actually be a good one to choose. Doctor or therapist advice? I'm curious what it's... Should I be faithful and go with what I actually have? Ooh. I wonder if I go back and I answer this all the same and then I just do this one. I wonder if it'll change the result. Let's go with the doctor one. Let's be true to it right now. I'm holding it all together on the outside, but inside it's chaos. No. No. I am completely tranquil. I often feel ashamed for not being more productive, even when I'm trying my best. One, you're not trying your best. Two, you could be more productive if you were trying your best. Three, you're not ashamed. You're just self conscious. That's it. See, here's the thing ADHD is the flood of multiple inputs all at the same time, right? So, one thing that you could train yourself to do is single out one thing, file away the others, break down the ones that you don't need to be concerned about. That could be a way to kind of push it forward for yourself, right? However, that's very, it's just as inconsistent, right? Without actually being able to fully observe somebody who puts those actions into play consistently every day without lying, that's a tough measurement to achieve on the effectiveness of that. Hmm. But we can go back to essentially the little diagram that I made earlier. And when you realize that achievement is the ultimate bridge to dopamine, and you focus on only achieving things and you add discipline, you'll be insanely productive. Insanely productive. And again, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. All right. I didn't want to make this video that long, but I guess I'll do an extra one that's like cut down. We're gonna go through my entire day right now. I was gonna wait. I was gonna do it in a different video, but fuck here we go. So my average day with ADHD brain. Okay, first thing, wake up 7 a.m. I wake up 7 a.m. every day without fail. There's never a time that I miss it. There's some times where I'll sleep into like 8:30, but those are like typically like days off. So wake up 7 a.m. Now, I have an energy drink for breakfast. This is my caffeine of choice, if you will. So, energy breakfast, right? And then after that, how detailed do I want to get? I'll get detailed. So, we'll add this together. So, let's do make up bed. Make a bed. I don't make my bed. It's not like some fucking military style fucking bounce a fucking quarter on that bitch type shit. Or however the fucking military does it. This is make sure like all the blankets are thrown over and the dog's blanket is kind of spread out because she likes to fucking clean her paws and shit on the bed, which is fucking annoying, but I'm also too lazy to train her out of it, so it's whatever. Yeah, so make up bed, not make the bed, but make up bed slash shower. Right? And after that, we gotta walk the dog. Walk the dog often. 30 minutes. This is 30 minutes total, like outing wise. Not specific to like 30 minutes walking specifically, because that would be long as fuck. So it's like 30 minutes from the time that I leave my door to the time that I get back. And then after that, I will if I'm bringing lunch, then I will make lunch. Then I'll make lunch. If I'm not bringing lunch, then this is we'll just put that there. So that's a maybe we do, maybe we don't. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't type things. Most of the time, I would say most of the time, I have my lunch that I bring with me. I don't like to eat at work. It's just easier, throw it in the microwave real quick, and then you can just go sit down and relax for a bit. So make lunch. After I make lunch, I feed the dog. Feed the dog. That's when she gets her food and water. And then after that, I will go brush my teeth. So I would call this get ready for the day. Ready for the day. So this is when I like change into my work clothes, and I get the beard oil action, get the beard cream, all that stuff. After I get ready for the day, then it's off to work. So let's just do work. Actually, we'll do this. We'll do off to work. There we go. And actually, what I'm going to do... Fuck! I didn't mean to do that. Ready for the... okay, get ready for the day. We're just going to put dashes here. It'll be easier to follow along with rather than just a big-ass list of shit. Okay. All right, so off to work. And then after work, we'll do... This one is also dependent errands. So that would be like if I got to get some groceries or stock up on some supplies or whatever. So we'll leave the parentheses there as well for that. So that's a yay or nay. And then after that, we will change to gym clothes. Change to gym clothes. After we change to gym clothes, we will walk the dog. Again, another 30 minutes. Then after I walk the dog, I will have dinner. And then after I have dinner, I will record, which is where we're at right now in my day. Record YouTube. Okay. Then immediately after, it is go to the gym and train. And then after that, MMA lessons also at gym. The reason I'm separating these is because there are days where I don't do MMA outside of training and I just do the training. Just depends on like what I got going on, right? Because like if there's a patch notes that I know is going to be like 2, 3, 4 hour long, that's a lot of editing I got to do. So I'll cut down my gym time, but I'll still make sure I always go to the gym. But for the most part, I hardly ever miss a day. Like I do strength training, and then after strength training, I go immediately into MMA every day. So, and then we come back from the gym and we will edit videos. So this is chopping the videos down and uploading them or scheduling them to be uploaded to YouTube. I used to do like the shorts and stuff. I don't do that anymore just because it's a bit time consuming. But feel free to clip this stuff if you guys want. Edit videos. After I edit videos, I'll probably play a video game. So video game or YouTube. Or I'll watch YouTube videos. One of the two. And then play with dog. So sometimes I'll flip-flop these. Sometimes I'll play with the dog first, and then I'll do video games in YouTube. Or I'll do video games in YouTube first, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm over this. And then I'll play with the dog for a little bit. And then finally, go to bed at 1 a.m. and rinse and repeat. So wake up, have an energy drink, make up my bed / shower, walk the dog, make lunch, feed the dog, get ready for the day, off to work, errands, change to gym clothes, walk the dog again, have dinner, record YouTube, go to the gym and train, MMA lessons also at the gym, edit videos after when I return home, video games or YouTube, depending on what I'm feeling, and play with dog, go to bed at 1 a.m. And also keep in mind that there are things like when I'm playing video games, I'm likely playing video games on one and I got anime playing on the other. So I'm like doing both, or I have YouTube playing on the other. So like sometimes I'll multi and I'll just do both. So I like to min-max as much time as I can, especially when it comes to food. Like I waste no time with food. I think my average food, like prep to consumption, is probably 25 minutes. Because like on my days off, like I'll spend more time cooking because like I don't have like to spend the extra time at work. So I'll meal prep a lot. So like I'll get like the biggest carton of eggs that you can get, and I'll scramble all the eggs at the same time. It's fucking nuts. I have a massive pan that I use just to scramble an entire carton of eggs. It's insane. But I try to stay ahead of that stuff. Like I literally like I meal prepped like a week and a half's worth of spaghetti. I was just eating spaghetti every day for a week and a half. But that's just how I am, man. I think food, I look at food as a necessity, but also a waste of time. So anything that I can do to speed up the time that I cook to eat is as good as possible. Like that's literally like one of my main reasons for having a girlfriend is if I can get a girlfriend to cook me meals that I enjoy that aren't disgusting every day so I don't have to, absolute fucking W. But that's it. That's my day. That's my day every single day, right? To specify, let's do 9 hours, 5 days. 9 hours, 5 days a week. So, yeah, that's my life. That's my life every single day without missing a beat. So, I often feel ashamed for not being more productive. No. I often feel misunderstood, like no one really gets how my mind works. No. What do you want to get out of this ADHD management journey? Decrease negative thoughts, eliminate bad habits, become more organized, improve my focus. Let's do achievable goals and see what it says. Continue. Which of these habits would you like to build? Stick to a routine, I'm actually curious what it'll say if I say stick to routine. How motivated are you to learn more about yourself? Very motivated. How much do you know about cognitive behavioral therapy? So it recommends therapy. Interesting. So, huh. Okay. So this further pushes me in the direction that psychology is the end all be all of ADHD. Because if they're using a cognitive behavioral therapy to help assist you in your daily ADHD life, then in theory, you should also be able to use basic psychological states of being to harness that same mental capacity. So you could think of discipline as the dome. Discipline is the dome. And inside the dome, the ADHD goes crazy. But the dome has an optimized environment for that ADHD to be used in a way that's effective rather than defective. Is how I look at discipline as an overall fix for ADHD. Not a solve, but it is a fix. I do know quite a bit about it. Did you hear about Living from a therapist? No. Living was developed using evidence based on psychological practices. Your journey is based on decades of research from Harvard, Oxford, and Cambridge. Harvard ain't looking too good nowadays because it's like Wokeford nowadays. I don't know about Oxford and Cambridge. I have never looked into those two universities. Harvard is definitely the most popular. Now for the wrong reasons, but so it goes when you get involved in politics. Your plan will be reviewed by practice. Wait, so I don't get my results? Anietta Dixon. I probably butchered her first name, so if that's the case, my bad. Okay. Continue. I gotta fucking... Give me a minute. You guys like my wallpaper, by the way? Fucking sick. I'm gonna have to put in all my fucking info, I swear to God. Alright. Alright. Calm down. Here are the results. ADHD signs level medium. That's crazy. ADHD type impulsive. Hidden struggle, chaotic environment. Physical sign, twitching. Challenging period, several years of instability. This, unironically, was actually very accurate. And I can give you the exact timeline for all of this. And the concept for this. So the impulsivity comes from the fact that I don't plan things. I don't. Typically, like my trip to Texas, I plan that clearly. Like that's something you have to plan. But typically, I do tend to do things on a whim, right? So, for example, I'll be taking her for a walk. We'll be fucking going out and about and doing whatever, right? Because typically, like, while I'm giving her a walk, and the reason why we do like 30-minute walks is because it's partially exercise and it's also partially training. Because, you know, your training should always start in the home. And then once you leave the home, it should also be reinforced outside of the home. So you need to be able to have your dog under complete control in all environments. And this includes chaotic public environments. So, the impulsivity comes in when we could be going for a jog or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, I feel like a nice coffee. And then we immediately tangent to go get a fucking iced coffee. So that does happen. Or like sometimes like I'll have the impulsive thought, but then I'll just kind of, I'll put it away in like the file drawer in my head. And then I'll finish what we were doing. And then when we're at a stopping point, that's when I'll go get the coffee, right? Because then it doesn't just interrupt the flow, right? Hidden struggle, chaotic environment. This one is not accurate for me. This is like the one thing that I'll probably nitpick a bit is chaotic environments that don't bother me. They really don't. Now, if you were to say force me into a situation where I was the only one in a chaotic environment, then I could see that being a problem. But the environment itself isn't really that big a deal. Because like I said before, like being under pressure is something that I enjoy. And it's often like when I do my best work, right? Challenging periods, several years of instability. That is very, very true. When I got off of my medication, because this is medical advice. So pay attention. This is medical advice. Never quit your medication cold turkey, ever. I did that. Now, granted, you know, I was still like, at this point, I was a CNA. I was not that like super into, because I got my CNA through trade school. I was not that into like the health stuff yet. I had not even started psychology yet or anything like that. So I had no idea the absolute backlash that you take when you have a mental, like a drug that messes with the chemical makeup of your brain. If you quit it cold turkey like that, it can actually do irreparable damage to how your brain functions on a day-to-day basis. So, if you're going to become like me and many others who are off of their medication, who highly function at a much more successful rate than an average person, then by all means, my friend, talk to your doctor, start weaning down. And as you're weaning down, you're going to use psychology and discipline, and you're going to learn how to manage the thoughts that fly into your brain. See, here's the problem. Right now, you have a dam in your head. That dam is a pill, and that pill is blocking all of that sensory overload that you are not used to. So if you have a lapse where you can't get your medication or something like that, that's when you probably feel this quote unquote shutdown, this couch potato mode, because you don't know how to handle the thoughts coming into your brain and file them away, set them off for later, deal with them immediately, depending on what it is, right? You don't know how to handle that. You don't know how to break those down and manage them. Due to that, when you don't have medication, you are completely vulnerable. I don't know about you, but I don't like being a weak little bitch. So, psychology, discipline. That's how you handle that. Physical sign twitching, definitely. A good example of this is watching Lord of the Rings. I rewatched it. This would probably be 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. I rewatched Lord of the Rings because I never did finish them. uh, and I was struggling. Trying to get through the second movie, and that's where I did stop. I haven't watched the third one yet, so no spoilers. Trying to get through that second movie after sitting there through the first one was tough. Oh, it was better than I remembered it. I did enjoy it. I still hate the Hobbit characters. I think they're annoying, but seeing Gandalf do his thing and like the human characters and the dwarf and like how the cast like played off each other, it was so good, so good. Definitely brought me back into the series big time. So that's where I'm at. So if I was here at if I was here in like 2009, then that means that through discipline and psychology and challenging myself, I've managed to drag it way the fuck down here. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. And that's only because I'm not trying to shut the ADHD down. I'm trying to use it to further myself. I'm not trying to get rid of my ADHD. I'm not looking at it as a disease or a disorder or an illness. I'm looking at it as a tool, as the extra motivator. I'm looking at it as the energy booster, right? It's that thing that, when people say, "Oh, he got that dog in him," right? And it's usually like a reference to like somebody's willpower, right? But like for me, that willpower comes from the fact that I'm psychologically fucked up. And I have a mental imbalance. And because of that, it gives me superpowers, right? It's so insane. And for those who think I'm joking, hold up. Are you guys ready for this? The whole time that I've been recording this video, talking to you, going through the notes that I had on my phone and all that shit, I've been watching YouTube this whole fucking time. So when I tell you that ADHD is a superpower, it's a superpower, right? I've been watching Ryzen, Goosiest, Nitrate, and fucking Blue Duck in these goddamn fucking Forza Horizon 5 racing videos this whole time. And shout out to them, by the way. Fucking, I love their content. I've been watching it for like the past month now. It's so fucking funny, dude. It's so funny. If you like car stuff, go check them out, man. But I've been watching that the whole time while also doing this and talking to you and looking at the computer and looking at the notes on my phone. That